Imagine the ultimate assistant. You tell your phone you need a hotel room for under $300, and you walk away. Behind the scenes, your AI reviews the options, checks your loyalty status, and steps up to toss down the card. No browsing, no friction. Now imagine the email you get an hour later. Your agent booked a room that technically fits the budget, but it's completely non-refundable, and it's on the wrong side of the city. You didn't approve the final choice, but the money is already gone. For the entire history of the internet, online buying has relied on a very specific sequence of events. A person searches, reviews the total price, and clicks a button. That click creates a shared structure of evidence. The merchant, the bank, and the buyer all agree that a human was present and took an action. But when you take the human out of the loop and swap in a piece of software, that structure shatters. Suddenly, the evidence is no longer clear. When an autonomous agent makes a mistake, the merchant doesn't want to swallow the cost of the return. The credit card network doesn't want to absorb the fraud risk. And you certainly don't want to be left holding the bag for a purchase you didn't physically authorize. Because no one wants to be held liable for an autonomous mistake, a turf war has ignited among the giants of the internet. They are racing to establish the new standards that will define how every purchase is authorized and settled in a world without human clicks. The first fight in this war is happening right at the surface. Before money even moves, someone has to decide where the AI is actually allowed to shop. AI companies are pushing the Agent Commerce Protocol. In this setup, you ask a chatbot for a product and you buy it without ever leaving the conversation. The AI window effectively swallows the storefront, controlling the presentation. E-commerce platforms realize this is a threat, so they are countering to force AI agents to respect the merchant's specific rules, like inventory, discounts, and loyalty programs. The AI builders want the cleanest, fastest user experience possible. The merchants need to maintain a direct relationship with the buyer so they can tell their brand story and drive repeat business. The push for a frictionless AI checkout carries a high cost for merchants. If a store loses the ability to shape the customer's experience and loyalty, it risks becoming a background utility rather than a viable business. Even if the checkout interface is perfect, it doesn't solve the issue of intent. We still need a way to prove that the user actually allowed the agent to take that specific action. A payment system's ability to move money is different from its ability to prove that the money should have moved. In traditional commerce, authorization is tied to the moment of the click. With agents, those actions are disconnected. To solve this, payment networks are building digital authorization mandates. These are cryptographic permission slips that travel with the AI. They define the exact scope of the task, the hard spending limits, and the proof that a human signed off. If a transaction is disputed later, the network traces the token back to show exactly what the agent was permitted to do. Without an irrefutable, long-lasting record of human intent, the agentic economy would struggle to survive under the weight of refund disputes and fraud. While we often picture agents shopping for groceries, a high-frequency market is emerging for machine-to-machine transactions. This is where software pays software, spending fractions of a cent to call an API, access a hosted tool, or run a data request. Traditional credit cards are not built for this. If an AI needs to make 10,000 microtransactions a minute, flat transaction fees would eat the entire budget, and traditional settlement delays would slow the software down to a crawl. This is the primary use case for stablecoins. Digital dollars act as high-speed, machine-native currency. They move value outside of traditional card windows, smoothly bypassing the traffic of retail networks. Developers embed the payment directly into the web request. The machine asks for a resource, presents the payment, and gets access instantly. The transaction simply becomes part of the conversation between two pieces of code. Consumer wallets and machine wallets solve entirely different business problems. Your credit card offers fraud protections for a pair of shoes, while stablecoins offer the speed required for an API call. Both must coexist for the agentic economy to function. But there is one final layer sitting above all of this, and it dictates how every AI action is managed inside a corporate environment. Major cloud platforms aren't just trying to provide the payment rail. They are fighting to own the specific environment where the enterprise AI lives and operates. This is enterprise governance. It's the real-time rulebook that tracks company budgets, vendor approvals, and security policies. It creates a containment field that watches every movement an agent makes. A payment provider only sees the money move. But the cloud platform sees the assigned task, the internal budget applied, and the exact policy that allowed the action. That visibility provides an incredible amount of long-term leverage over the entire ecosystem. Whoever controls this invisible enterprise fence ultimately dictates the boundaries of what an autonomous agent is allowed to do with a company's resources. For decades, internet commerce hid the complexity of liability and identity behind one simple action. That single click is blowing away in the wind. We are watching human commerce unbundle into a fragmented web of protocols, mandates, and platform roles. The old purchase flow has been taken apart, and different camps are now trying to rebuild it. There is no clear winner yet. Trillions of dollars in economic activity rely on who successfully defines these new rules of risk and responsibility. Whether you are a shopper or a merchant or a builder, you have to decide which layer of this new stack you are going to play in. You are a participant in this economy whether you realize it or not. Check out the strategy guide on the Substack linked below to understand these dynamics before your role in the internet economy is decided for.